Hey guys, what's up? This is Minnie, and today I'm going to be talking about what build I've been using on my ZF-6, the German Tier 9 Premium Destroyer. But before I do, a quick reminder, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below the video, and make sure to click like. A lot of my views recently have been coming from non-subscribed folks, and so make sure you hit that button. So, anyway, ZF-6 is the latest dockyard ship that World of Warships has put out, occupying most of the 10.4 and 10.5 patch to get. Sitting at tier 9, she shows up with the equipment of a smoke, a speed boost, a main battery reload booster, and DFAA. You have no choices on changing any of those consumables. You do miss the hydro, but what she really has is phenomenal AP that makes her a very strong DD hunter. So what I want to talk about today is we're going to talk about her build. Now, I do use Lucians on her. I find Lucians to be nice on her for two reasons. One, in longer games, you can easily get the 140 shell hits with the main battery, which will give you another 7% off your main battery reload booster. And also, the more important thing is the resilient. Each time you spot 3 enemy ships, your ship's HP gets restored, which means that on a ship that doesn't have a heal, at tier 9, I'm getting 2,700 health back every time I spot 3 ships if I've been damaged. That has won me more fights than you can believe against DDs. Now, as I said, the ZF-6 is really designed to be a very strong DD hunter. She's got strong artillery with 5 guns, 128 millimeters, 3.3 second reload time with what I've done, 1450 on the HE shell, 2950 on the AP shell, and she's also got some really nice torps. 2x4 set, only 8 kilometers, but they hit for a max of 18,000 and change damage, and it's a 90-second reload. So when I designed this ship, to be low detection and pretty standard DD build. I mean, the first things you start off with, because this isn't a French DD or a Lighthouse DD build, you start off with preventative maintenance, last stand, survivability expert, and concealment expert. Preventive maintenance, obviously, keep your stuff from getting incapacitated. Last stand, you gotta always have your engines moving. Survivability expert gives us another 3,150 HP, which means that we go from 17,000 to 20,150, which puts us on par or just below a lot of the other DDs at tier 9. Stuff like the Kitakaze will have more health than you, but you really can't afford to stay at the 17,000 health. Um, that you start out with, because 17,000 is really going to put you at a disadvantage. And with that extra health, you have a very good chance at outgunning and outbrawling most of the DDs you're going to run into, except for stuff like Friesland and Mogadors and Neustrashimis, the stuff that has the heals or the damage saturation effects. You do want the concealment expert. This gets your concealment down to 5.8, which is one of the extremely low detections. There are very few DDs that will out detect you at tier 9 when you have a 5.8 concealment, and you will out detect stuff like the Kitakaze, the Mogador, and such, which gives you a nice advantage. So those are your first 10 points. Then I like to talk about the stuff I don't take and I don't recommend. It is tempting to take Grease the Gears. I don't personally take Grease the Gears. While your battery traverse is 20.7 seconds, and that would make it 20% faster, which would take it down to about 16-ish seconds, which would be nice. I find that with the one spare point you're going to have, the consumable specialist is nicer because that gives you 10% quicker fight or DFAA time and 10% quicker main battery reload booster. And what that means is that if we go back and we look at the equipment, I have got an 85-second reload on my main battery reload booster, so less than a minute and a half, which is massive. And on your DFAA, you've got, or DAAF or however, it's a 61-second odd reload time, which once again, so if a plane's coming to fight you, you have a real good chance to survive. Um, anyway, Liquidator, even though your torps are good, if you have 1 point, you can throw it in there if you're tempted, but I find this to be worth more. Gun Feeder, while tempting, you're at a 3.3 second reload and you have a main battery reload booster. You're not going to be encountering a lot of situations where you're going to be in prolonged gunfights where you need to change while you're not on a main battery reload booster. And then I don't take IFA because I don't think it's worth it on the DDs. At the tier 2 level, Pyrotechnician, you're not going to be firing a lot of HE. The ZF-6 is designed for AP. It has those improved pen angles, which means on angled DDs, I routinely am chunking them for 2 to 4,000 with the AP. So you're going to be firing AP unless the DD is nose into you, or if it's a flat broadside and you're trying to damage modules. Swift Fish, you've already got 75 knot torpedo speed. You don't need 5% extra. Consumables enhancement, well, it would be nicer to have the longer uh, smoke generator and engine boost. I don't find it to be as worth it as it needed. Now, I have messed around with the extra heavy AP shells. Well, it's nice because it takes your damage up to something like 3171 for the AP shells. I don't find it needed, and I'd rather spend those points elsewhere, and we already talked about Prio Target. At the tier 3 level, I do recommend main battery and AA specialist. Getting that 5% reload time does take the ZF-6's reload down, because remember, I have it at 3.3, but it doesn't start there. Getting the fill the tubes, you've got 90-second reload time. 10%, 9 seconds is nice, but since your torps are secondary to your guns, not really worth it. Adrenaline Rush, on the other hand, must have. Continuing to just lower that reload time allows you to take fights at allows you to take fights when you are at low health. For example, just yesterday in this, I was at 5,000 odd health, and I had a a Akazuki that I engaged in that had 13,000 health. And between main battery reload booster and my adrenaline rush, I won the fight. It was close, but I did win the fight. So think about that. IFHE is not worth it. You're not going to be using your HE shells that much because your AP is so good. And then while Superintendent is tempting, I haven't met enough times where I've really justified having the extra consumable to go back to using that 3 points and getting rid of something here. At the tier 4 level, I like to take main battery and AA expert because that gets your firing range 20%, which has increased it up to 14.2. Without it, you're sitting at 11.9. Because I run in slot 6, I run the reload to get myself a 12% quicker reload. If you want to run the gun range there, you can choose to, but I find it much more efficient to run the reload there and take the range here. Swift and Silence, while tempting for the ship speed, you don't need it. You're already pretty decent speed, in my opinion. You're 36.8 knots. Before that, you're not going to need to be running around 8% quicker. RPF is the one where I've really struggled, and if you want to take RPF, I can completely see why you would take RPF. RPF is very good for spotting DDs, because there are a few that outspot you in knowing where they're coming from. But the loss of what you had to give up for it, to me, wasn't worth it, because you can make a case for getting rid of main battery and AA specialist and consumable specialist to take RPF. I personally don't, but you are not wrong if you want to do that. Fearless Brawler is another one that is tempting because of the reload time and the number of shell explosions and AA salvos, but once again, with the main battery reload booster, you're already shredding at a strong enough rate. I didn't see it as worth it over having the quicker reload on those and having the just 5% full-time reload and the 10% continuous A damage. And then finally, Dazzle. I I still don't see the use in Dazzle. So that's why I take these, but like I said, you can definitely make a case to take Radio Location or Fearless Brawler if you want to. Or you should be taking these. Preventive Maintenance is one, Last Stand is your second and third point, Survivability Expert is your fourth, fifth, and sixth point, and then Concealment Expert takes you up to 10 points. After that, there's some method to which way you can go. Personally, I would go for the Adrenaline Rush next because you want to get yourself the ability to get that quicker speed. So that should be your 11th, 12th, and 13th point. After that, I would probably recommend going for the main battery to get the extra range, though a case can be made to go for the tier 3 main battery rather than the tier 4 main battery. But whichever route you go is fine, but these should be your next two skills. Either way you take them is fine, and then you should finish with getting Consumable Specialist as your 21st point. If you don't take Lucian's, it's okay, but I really do like Lucian's on her because of the Resilient talent, which just makes it so nice for you to be able to activate those skills quicker and get that heal. Anyway, Hope you enjoyed my video on the ZF-6. Like I said at the beginning, if you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave some comments down below if you have thoughts on my build. This is Minnie, signing off.